Good morning. This is Debra V. Wilson. I am in Bradford. It is Friday, the 27th of March, 2020, and the time is 1000 hours and 17 minutes, and the time zone is BST. This morning I took off about at 8:30 a.m. to do my grocery shopping. It was first thing I noticed. I live in a tall building, and the first thing I noticed is that in the lobby, the very outer door, someone had broken the glass. And the way the glass had been broken, it's a secured building, someone had broken it from the outside. So I made my way to the store. Was concerned about that, but I made my way to the store, and it was pretty deserted. I saw some cars. I went back to the same Aldi. Let me stay on a linear path. So I made my way to the store. It was quite deserted on the street. Saw some cars, but definitely light. Because this is a work day. Friday would normally be a work day, and there are very few cars on the road. And I live in a busy part of town. And in any case, and then I saw on foot. I saw very few people. I saw people walking in twos. We were doing they were clearly together. But on the most part, everyone I saw, other than a couple here and a couple there, were lone people like myself, and we were doing a great deal of social distancing. At the Aldi's, the first thing I noticed was there was a security guard standing outside the store. So I asked if everything was okay in the store, and he said, "Oh yes." He said the reason he was there is they're only allowing 30 customers at a time in the store. When I got there, there were less than 30 customers in the store. But the great thing about that, is as I went on with my shopping, more people came in, and they were literally doing limiting the number of customers coming in at a time. And it was so good because I believe the crowd, when there are people in the store, many people in the store, I think we are triggering each other. One of the things that in quotes, I'm going to be myself here, that I find fascinating about the COVID-19 pandemic is that it is a reminder from a physiological perspective that we're connected as humans, and then it also sociologically, we're connected, and group dynamics. So the store was very calm. It was really calm. Literally, they're limiting what people purchase, but the number of people being allowed in the store at the same time, keeping that to a maximum of 30. It's the group dynamics. Since we appear to be triggering ourselves, the store came up with a solution, and it appeared to be working, at least while I was there. I noticed the employees were much calmer than previous visits because in some cases they were being verbally attacked. Well, all of that has been at least minimized. If I didn't see any incidents while I was there. The only thing I did see that was terribly disappointing was two different women. They were not together. One had a cough with a mask on, and it wasn't that cough which is normal, the cough or the sneeze when it's literally your nasal passages clearing themselves. Dust, some irritant dust, maybe just dust. No, it was a regular cough. And that during the short time I was in the store, approximately a half an hour, it happened more than once. The store isn't that big. And I made a point to stay out of the lady's way, even though she had a mask on. The other woman that was coughing was really troubling in that she didn't have a mask on. This is my nervous laugh, and she had a productive cough. And by that I mean when she coughed, you could hear she was coughing up mucus, well, phlegm. We all know that sound. And she was using her mouth. I'm sorry, her hand to cover her mouth. I mean, check off everything you're not supposed to do. It's troubling when we're in a relationship with the state, and we are there to keep each other. The state, we're all people, we're all humans, we all have our humanity, which should be respected. But one of the roles the state does is provide services, order, protection, a myriad of things, and we organize that way because, for instance, the NHS, when the medical services, the state makes sure those people are licensed, are trained and licensed, and have oversight. The people that drive our taxis, our buses, they make sure the checks and balances. So we expect the state to do their job, but then the state expects us to also do our job, and that's to be good citizens, good the civilian sector, good at what we do, and acknowledging our responsibility in all situations. The woman with the productive cough, I spend a lot of time observing people and watching people, and there's a reason and I will come to it quickly, that I'm bringing this up. She appeared to be middle class. She didn't appear to be poor. She appeared to be, other than the cough, and I'm not a doctor, but she appeared to be otherwise healthy, and maybe it was allergies. I don't know that, right? But she appeared to be healthy. And she was young, approximately 30s maybe. So there was that experience, that this person, a part of society, who seemed to be not on the margins of society, the clothes she had on, but in that instance had completely negated her responsibility to her fellow citizens. Those of us that occupy, citizens, visitors, whatever, those of us that are sharing the same space. Well, anyway, I got my groceries and I took off back to my place. So one of the things I did notice about who was walking around were men on their own and sometimes in groups. And as I was walking back on one of the high streets, I saw a group of 3 men, and they didn't look like they were doing well. So it was about 10 in the morning. They appeared to be under the influence. They were young as opposed to the 20s. The skin was really bad. I don't know if that was from drinking or lack of nutritious foods or drugs. One of them, they all had really bad skin, and one of them was holding up his pants. I have no idea what happened there. I cry all the time. Here I go. They looked sick, physically sick. They looked like they were struggling with addictions. They looked like they were under the influence. Yet one of those men, when he saw me step back with trepidation, because it was 3 men, They appeared to be under the influence, and I was carrying my groceries. He stopped, holding his pants, and backed away and pinned himself up against the store and said, "Sorry, love. Go, sorry, love." He was aware I was uncomfortable. He was aware that the reason I felt uncomfortable, whether that was right or wrong, was because of the three men and their appearance, and even in their state. And definitely, I would say they were marginalized persons because they appeared to be under the influence of some substance. He still felt, because when he stepped back, the other two walked ahead quicker, at a quicker pace, so that I could get through with my bag. They felt a responsibility. We shared the same street. We were walking on the same street. We were sharing the same city. That's Bradford. We're both doing this experience of COVID-19. And they took responsibility. He was still holding on to his pants, and I looked at him, and there were reds. Under his eyes were red, and his skin was in a horrible state. But he still felt a sense of responsibility. So, stream of consciousness. Yeah, let's call this another podcast. That's the stream of consciousness. I'll continue to post, and I'm trying to be more regular. This is Bradford, and I am Debra V. Wilson, and it's Friday, the 27th of March, 2020. Thank you. My apologies, and I was remiss in mentioning that whilst shopping, actually after I completed my shopping, and on the way back to my place, I literally saw West Yorkshire police in a van, and they were driving around the shopping mall area, the entire square. And so I did see a police presence, and I'm trying to paint a picture and keeping track of this experience as we go through it and my observation. So again, I did see a van with the West Yorkshire police patrolling the area. Okay, this is Debra V. Wilson, and I'm in Bradford. Thank you.